Very good morning to you, Mozart, the CEO of Comfort Noche Teaching Hospital. My guy, I have a pass by office. So you see you since last year. We know should have meet like that. And the meeting self, it was some way. But don't worry, I'll pass by. It is what it is. But they're both in the studio here, and I must also let you know that they are ardent listeners of this brand. And one day I was surprised. They walked into the station and said, "We're just passing by. I decided to check in and check out you guys because we've been listening the Lantam days, the Prince Binka days, mentioning names. And, hey, this would they get records past we serve, but it is what it is. As they say, ladies first, right? So I've got Mawusi here, and she's Marilyn. Mawusi, Azumah. Mawusi, good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, ask everything.
Everything is fine.
How's the office?
It's been good. It's been
good. Yeah. I shared their office, during the Christmas season. I was there with them. I was not working though, but doing taking care of me. But it was good. It's good to have you also in my office.
It's good to be
not for
here.
days, but just for a few moments.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
But I've got Patrick also. Patrick, I'm struggling to pronounce your middle name, so maybe let me just do the Kamilo. But you help me with the middle name. What's the right pronunciation of the middle name? Manswa. I'll leave it here. I'll go Patrick Kamilo.
Yeah.
Patrick, good morning as well.
Good morning.
And how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, today I have you also in my office.
And it's a delight to be here. I've been listening to Ultimate and I can't just.
Yeah. Well, but we'll get into the topic. But how is the heel Comfort Noche doing? I don't know, Mawusi, how's it doing?
Yeah, it's been good. We're still on it, and we've done 60% of the roofing because we can't start the building itself without the roof. And when you look at the building, like there's been a lot of crack with the roofing, so we need to solve it first. And we've done the A block and B, and now we are on the C. Currently, they are working on the C. They started it in December, and we've been, progressing. So what we need for people to do is to support with every penny that you have. And the short codes are. By the time they are done, we'll talk about.
So they get a short course. They get a short course in their brain too. So we just pop it out.
Yeah, well, we're doing all the best that we can.
Hugh
Comfort Noche started with even the paintings of the doctor's flats and all that. It's been ongoing since our honorable stepped in. It's been ongoing through his leadership. We've been executing this, and up him so the our excellency, our Otumfo Osetutu has also championed this, and we are on it. We are doing all the best we can to create a good environment for not just the patient but also the staff, so that it would help with recovery. Because if the place is not conducive, which everyone here was once born through Comfort Noche, was given birth at Comfort Noche, so healing Comfort Noche is one of the things that really going to transform healthcare with the remodernization and the reshaping of the system. Yeah.
If I don't get Mawusi doing this, who else? Because I've even seen a picture of her, I think, in Otumfo, was it?
Yes.
But so indeed, still, I believe you are indirectly ambassadors for CATH. Speak to persons who are listening. Why should they come on board and support us all heal Comfort Noche?
I think Comfort Noche serves a lot of people in this country.
Okay, you may have to come a bit closer to the microphone here.
Comfort Noche serves a lot of people in this country. We receive referrals from various regions and they come in for specialized care and stuff. So I think that we need to make it better. For the past years, it hasn't really seen any major innovations like this, and I think it's good we support this good cause. You never know when you come to Comfort Noche. I remember some years ago, I was like, Comfort Noche is too big for me to go there to seek for healthcare and stuff. But at a point, I was referred there to come and seek for specialized care because I needed an ophthalmologist to check my eyes. And I finally came to Comfort Noche. So it's something that I think everyone should come on board. A lot of people always say that, Comfort Noche has a lot of money, they can do this on their own. But one person cannot just do it all. And I think that we all have a corporate or social responsibility that we need to contribute a little to support. It's not that much. If you have one city, we are ready to receive, even if it's 10 pesos. It's just the interest and then the commitment that you have to also share with us. And I think it's a good call. We are doing our best such that we will make sure the place is good enough for everyone.
Okay.
Even if you are passing through, a lot of people may not even seek direct health care from us,
Mm-hmm.
but they pass through from Edum to Bantama, take car to their various homes and stuff. The place needs to be safe. If it's not safe, you can't pass through. So I think that we can all do something to better it. And you can imagine the place, when it rains, the whole place gets flooded. And the washrooms, the towels, the beds are not good enough. So I think that even if you can't give us money, and maybe you deal in some of these equipment, maybe beds or even BP apparatus, or you sell towels and other stuff, you can, also donate those ones, and it's going to help us. And even maybe you have an expert idea that you think that you can also contribute. Why not? We can always have a discussion and see what is best for all of us. Because at the end goal is that we are healthy, we have a healthy community, and CAT is doing so.
Well, they work with CAT, and you expect them to, have the information at their fingertips, and this is what we call information overload, and they'll give it to you. And that's Patrick Kamilo. You had his nurse with Kath and president Sports Stroke Fast Foundation. You also had Marilyn, Mawusi, Azumah, also nurse, also at the facility, organizing secretary Sports Stroke Fast Foundation. And this morning, much of the conversation is going to be about me, you, and every other person, our lifestyles and things we do that exposes us to some, unhealthy development, matters of stroke and other conditions. I don't know. Let's look at stroke, Mawusi, in the layman's conversation. When we say stroke or somebody's gotten stroke, what is it?
So when we say that someone has a stroke, the same way that we have a heart attack, we call something a brain attack. So when the brain is attacked, then we call it stroke. So what happens then is that we have two types of stroke. We have the hemorrhagic stroke and we have the ischemic stroke. So the blood vessels, which is in the brain, are very, very tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very tiny. And the brain, oxygen goes through the brain to supply nutrients and all that.
Okay.
So when there's a block in the brain. So it could be due to a clot, a blood clot, or it could be due to a rupture. That means the blood vessels ruptures.
Okay.
So when the blood vessels ruptures, we call it hemorrhagic stroke. And that one, you bleed in your brain. The moment it ruptures, blood supply to the other part of your brain is impaired. So that side is not getting the nutrients it needs. It's not getting the blood, because the blood carries the oxygen. So if it's not the part of the brain that is affected, the opposite side becomes deficient. You can't use it. So if it is, the part of the brain that is controlling your speech, you're not able to speak well. So you see that, the person is not speaking coherently.
Okay.
Yes, the person is having difficulty speaking. Then we come to the ischemic stroke. That could be due to a clot. There are lots of factors that could lead to clot. Probably someone is having heart diseases, people with arrhythmias. So, when there is a clot, it blocks the blood vessels. So when it blocks the blood vessels, blood is not able to go to the other side of the brain. So when there is a blockage, that part of the brain that the blood is not going there dies with time.
Okay.
Yes. So when that happens, that part of the brain that is affected, it can affect any part, and stroke can affect anyone. And the reason why we keep talking about stroke, and it's really important for us to talk about stroke, is because of the prevalence. When we talk about the prevalence, means that when you take three people, one is going to suffer a stroke.
In Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana and worldwide.
Okay.
Yes. So if you take three people, like all of us sitting here, from the ages of 25 and above, in our lifetime, depending, one of us will suffer a stroke due to our lifestyle, which we're going to tackle, because it's very. And when we look at the prevalence in Komfo in terms of the high rates at which stroke is going, stroke is the leading cause of death in Komfo internal medicine, where we work. It's the number one leading cause of death, and it's the number one cause of people coming to the hospital at the OPD. And it's also, when it comes to worldwide, is the third leading cause of death worldwide. and also the third leading cause of disability. So
you're making me scared this morning. More like it, because
no, don't be scared.
Leading.
Yes.
I don't know. Patrick, is that a reality, or you guys just want to frighten us? So perhaps this morning, let's come and talk about stroke is the leading this, leading that. Is that a reality on the ground?
Yeah, there's a reason we set up this foundation to assist with healthcare advocacy. You know, sometime we used to work at the stroke unit where we typically manage stroke cases. That's people who have suffered a stroke, and realize that the rate at which the turnover was so much for us. Can you imagine young people coming with a stroke? Then we said, no, maybe there's something we are not doing right. We tend to ask questions about stroke, whether we assess their knowledge as whether they have any information about stroke, and it turns out that they don't know much about it. They only hear the name and they don't know the risk factors. So realize that, well,
because growing up, when you hear it sounded much more a foreign condition. It sounded much more an affluent condition. Yeah, we did chop there and guamo the gobe. It no be one thing, but it's now becoming the conversation that is supposed to be had.
Yes. So I mean, they are influenced by our lifestyle. So when we started it, then we started talking about it, then realized that no, I think the best thing to do is just go out there and talk about it. Just create awareness. Let people know that yes, it exists. People don't really talk about stroke, but believe you, it's just one of the top causes of death and admissions in various hospitals in Ghana. Just that we don't really talk about it. And this is the opportunity we also get to interact with people and let them know that it exists. You know, there are some conditions I wouldn't mention, but when the month is due, you realize that everybody championed the discussion, but not stroke. Meanwhile, stroke even doubles, like, in terms of its effect, more than the conditions that most people tend to, advocate and then seek resources to support the advocacy. But stroke is just on the low, and it's real. Over 1,000 people getting a stroke in a year. That's on admission. Over 300 people dying in just a year.
Wow.
Out of stroke. And if you go to the OPDs, over 5,000 people coming in, even though there will be referrals and as well. But you look at the data available, realize that if 3 people should get a stroke, 1 will die, 1 will be permanently disabled, and then 1 will be okay. So 1 out of 3 will survive. Like, will be okay enough to do certain things for themselves. It's scary, and we don't need to get there. Prevention is key. That's the good news about stroke is that it's preventable. 90% of stroke worldwide is preventable. Just that you need to know the lifestyle choices for yourself such that you can stay healthy.
We'll come to what you talk about prevention. 90% is preventable. But what is leading us into getting much more strokes? What kind of lifestyles are we having now that perhaps we should be concerned about the conversation about strokes being the leading this, leading that?
Yeah. So when it comes to stroke, research has really shown that people with hypertension. So we have a lot of risk factors that would lead to stroke, but the number one is hypertension, uncontrolled hypertension. So if you have hypertension, which is a silent killer, if you don't know about, you can't tell you have hypertension unless you check your blood pressure. Yes. So if you have a family history of hypertension, when treat you that at least in a year, you should have your blood pressure checked. If it's good enough, if you have money enough, just get a blood pressure machine. Go to a healthcare center. They will teach you how to use the blood pressure machine so that you could assess it to yourself and use it. Because the rate of hypertension is also high. And if the hypertension is not well controlled, it leads to a stroke. Apart from that, which is the number one, uncontrolled hypertension, diabetes leads to stroke. So if your diabetes is not well controlled, I use well controlled is because if it's well controlled, your chances of getting a stroke is less. But if you're not taking your medications as prescribed by the doctor, and you are going to every hospital to do shopping, because some of the patients do that, and you're adding aphrodisiacs to your.
If you say shopping, what is that?
Okay, so
patient going to hospital.
Yes, so some people, instead of sticking to where they are being treated, they go to hospital A. They are given this hypertensive drug. Then the next time they go to hospital B, and they are given another, antihypertensive drug, and they take all the drugs together. So it also has its own side effects on them, because they hear that, oh, hypertension, we could prevent you from getting hypertension. They hear the herbalists. You hear so many people talking about the fact that they could, you can be redeemed from getting hypertension or diabetes. So they buy drugs from everybody talking in the transports when you're in a VIP. But hypertension, the truth of hypertension is that hypertension is not curable, it's manageable. Diabetes is not curable, it's manageable.
Okay.
Yes, and is managed using these medications. And when it comes to men, especially, looking at they being affected, sexually, in terms of sexual dysfunction, most men wouldn't want to take their antihypertensive. But when you look at the risk of you getting a stroke and getting a sexual dysfunction, the hypertension drugs is not the hypertension drugs that is causing these kind of things. If you think you're having problems with your sexual dysfunction, you need to contact your doctor who put you on these antihypertensives, so that it could help you with the right medication to help boost your sexual drive. Thank you. So if you're having any trouble with these things, instead of shopping and taking every drug that is passing by, you need to consult your medical physician so that they give you the prescribed amount of drug that would help you to be able to boost your sexual drive.
We're talking about lifestyles. What are we doing that puts us at risk of stroke?
Okay, so I'll add a little to what Marilyn just said. Some people know their status. They know they are hypertensive. They know they are living with diabetes, and they tend to. Marilyn said it's not curable, but it's manageable. So it means that once you are on the drugs, it's a lifelong medication. You can't just stop taking it.
Okay.
There are instances where your doctor may advise that maybe once a while you take it. They can advise that. But there's a caution. You need to be checking your BPs.
Okay.
Once you're hypertensive, you have no business checking it once, a month or two. You need to check it almost every day.
Okay.
And keep records of it. Now, if you're able to keep records of this, it means that you're tracking the rate at which it swings.
Okay.
So if maybe this day it went up, maybe you could even add what the activity you engage in, maybe the food you ate or something that you did that caused that sharp rise in your BP. It's good because when you present these things to the hospital, the doctor or the nurses there will be happy to give you more information or insight about how to manage your blood pressures.
Okay.
So people default on their medication.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the people who get strokes, they are defaulters, most of them.
Okay.
Either they are taking their diabetic medication, they are not taking it. They stop for a while. Others to resort to certain unprescribed medications. I think 2 days ago, someone sent me a test that the father had a stroke 2 years ago. They stopped taking the medications and they resorted to something else. Now it's worse off, and the person is at Confanoche as I speak. When it happens this way, sometimes they believe that when they go in for different medications, it tends to work better for them. But they've forgotten that they had taken what we gave them for a while before switching. So that component is still in them, and that is controlling their BP at a certain level. And they are happy with what they got. Later on, they realize that no, the BPs are now going up. And it comes with a lot of complications.
Okay.
And if you get stroke one, you can get another stroke. It's not like it's once.
There's no. Okay.
We have people coming in, they've had stroke 3 times. And they are there.
Wow.
And that one, you realize that you are causing more harm to your brain because the brain cells get to damage a lot, which we can do something about. So basically, attitude towards certain conditions is part of the lifestyle choices that we are not making it right. So once you are listening, you are hypertensive, or you have a family member who is hypertensive or diabetic, just know that this condition cannot be cured. We can only manage it such that the complications would be reduced, such as getting a stroke or kidney disease or other disease that these conditions can come up with. So that is one of the lifestyles. So people just need to accept that there's a problem. Acceptance is also, about 50% cure, like management, let me put it that way. Because if you accept that there's a problem and know that there is a certain medications or drugs that could help control it, then it means that there's hope that you can live a longer period of time without getting worried about complications. And another lifestyle choice that we are not doing right is when you are people are asked to come for review sessions, they don't come until they are so unwell. And they come. No, medications comes with its own side effects, and sometimes when you put you on medications, the pills, you take it for quite some time. We need to do certain laboratory investigations to find out whether the medications are also having negative effect on other organs. So these are also lifestyle. So that is something that most people are not really doing, aside the fact that we don't check our BPs. We do a lot of outreach, free health, screening, blood pressure check, glucose check. Funny enough, those close to the venue where we are doing the screenings, they don't get checked. And that's, you can't force them. That's the lifestyle they have chosen. But I think that it is, we should be intentional when it comes to our health, because these days it's very costly. And that is what we are doing. So when it comes to choices, the attitude towards our health is something that we are not really doing right. Now, the other thing that we are also adding on. Now, if you know you have a family history of hypertension, a family history of diabetes, just know that you have a higher risk of getting hypertension or diabetes yourself. So you need to put measures in place. If you are aging, if you have an advanced age, maybe beyond 40, 45, 50 years, it means that your risks are high. It doesn't mean that everyone could not get a stroke or hypertension. Everyone could get a stroke. Even the young ones these days come in with strokes. 20 years, 24, 18 years come in with stroke. So age is also another risk factor that you can't do anything about. You see? Now, those that you can work on, hypertension, diabetes, now there's influx of alcoholic beverages in town, and people are drinking as if there's no tomorrow. These are not healthy. So imagine you have a family history of hypertension, you are taking so much alcohol, you are not getting checked. It means your risks are now 3.
Let me get this straight. Is there a situation that if you know of a family history of diabetes, hypertension, you don't venture into alcohol at all?
Not really.
Is it a case of that?
Not really. When it comes to alcohol, we always say that drink in moderation. But how moderate is your moderation? That's where the problem is. Now, if you know your risk factors, it means that it's better you stay away. If you know your risk factors, most people don't know they have these risks present. Now, the more you keep taking it, it's not just the hypertension that you are going to get. It also increases your cholesterol levels. And when you have high cholesterol levels in your blood, what happens is that it narrows the blood vessels. It will lead to hypertension. Then hypertension ultimately will give you a stroke. If you take in more, you could have issues with diabetes. Diabetes, when it's poorly controlled, could land the person in a stroke. It's not a direct link to stroke, but rather it's a predisposing factor that will lead you to developing hypertension, which is a precipitating factor, which will later lead you to getting a stroke. So that's how it moves. So you have people smoking a lot. Every book says that quit smoking. Every book you read says quit smoking. Now people don't really do the traditional cigarette stuff that we do. Now they've modified it to something that they think is more healthy and hygienic. They think it's a good option for them. Shisha, and I think they mentioned something, is it vape or something? All these things are not good. A puff of shisha is equivalent to consuming the traditional cigarette, one stick. So a session takes about 20 to 80 minutes, which means that once you are done with a session, you have consumed about 100 sticks of cigarette, which means that your blood vessels are likely to harden, and then lead to hypertension, then the person will get a stroke.
But Mawusi, how come is this information out there? Because people are doing this. People are adding balloon to it. People are doing all. And I was watching a documentary recently, I think in Sierra Leone. They are grinding human bones and adding it to all manner of things to smoke. And the doctor that was in this particular documentary says it has got some is it phosphate. He mentioned the name that gets them high, and so many things are happening. This information you guys are giving us this morning, is it easily available for people to access? Because when you go to the bars, when you go to the nightclubs, when you drive at night, some of these places, some of the things people are doing under the pretext of entertainment, chilling, having fun. Hey, yes, it's no joke.
So, as we mentioned earlier, one of the things that we're doing is to advocate and also to talk about it. That's why Sports Stroke Fast Foundation is there, because if we don't go out there, if we don't bring health to the doorsteps of people, because the information is on the internet, it's everywhere, but are you getting the right information? Because you can go through Google, you can go through whatever, but are you getting the right information? That's why we as health workers need to go out there. We have to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it rightly, other people will talk about it the way they want to talk about it, and it will end up, in terms of drugs and all that, it will end up causing more harm than good, because you're not the right people to talk about it. So that's why we are talking about it, talking about prevention. We are hammering about prevention, because when you come to the hospital, when you sit in front of a doctor, all the questions that you need to ask about your health, because it's your responsibility as a patient or as a client to ask about what medications are you giving me, what are some of the side effects. You can even go online and Google, but when you don't understand something, you need to ask your physician, you need to ask your nurse that is taking care of you, so that you will contribute to getting better. Because when you understand the condition well, you are able to manage it.
Okay.
You are alarmed because the information, yes, is not out there as it is, because even on the cigarette bar, it's written, it kills.
Yeah.
So information is out there, but sometimes who is given the information becomes a factor, because people are doing a lot of research. People want you to buy their products and all that. So if those people are not the right people, then they will dilute in order to get the production that they want.
Okay.
So we as nurses, health professionals, we need to go out there and talk about it. We need to talk about it at the OPDs. We need to talk about it on the radio stations. So that's why it's necessary, as you have given us the platform, to talk about it for people to hear. Because for lack of knowledge, the Bible says people perish. And people are perishing because they don't know that 30-minute section of shisha, whether it has different kinds of flavor, whether it's strawberry or whatever, is going to cause that damage.
Okay.
People don't know that the galamsey they are going through, doing the mercury and all those things, the illegal galamsey, let me say, the illegal mining that they are doing will end up affecting their kidneys. People don't know that, these alcohol that they are taking, because it's written 0.5%. But we as health professionals know that when it's written 0.5%, it means that, every 100 mils contains 0.5% of, 5% of the alcohol, 0.5% of the alcohol. If it's 5%, like Guinness is 7%, right? So when it's 7%, that means that if Guinness is 7%, that means Guinness contains 300 mils of, Guinness, the content. Sorry to mention a product, but if you take if you consume the whole thing, that means you are taking, it means 7 grams per every 100 mils. So if you are finishing the whole bottle, that means 21 grams. You are taking 21 grams. That means 21% is what you are taking in.
But people are taking this.
Yes, because and it's crazy, because it is energy drinks and all those things, because we are doing a lot of things. We are not having time for ourselves to eat. If you're not eating right and you're eating wrongly, your cholesterol levels goes up. when your cholesterol level goes up, it blocks the blood vessels with time.
Okay.
Not only does it cause liver diseases, fatty liver diseases, but it also ends up making your blood vessels more, it hardens your blood vessels.
Okay.
It's just like putting palm oil in a pipe. With time, with the layers, it blocks it, and it makes your blood vessels more hard and also more difficult for the blood to penetrate. So the blood vessel, the blood pumping through the rest of your body will use more force. And when you use more force and your blood pressure is not well controlled and your blood pressure goes up above 140/90, because everybody has blood pressure. Blood pressure is not everyone working has blood pressure. That's what we call it normal blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is not normal, it's not between the 100, which is the upper 100, the systolic or the upper one, to 130, and the diastolic, which is between the 60 to 80, and is above that is 140 and above, 140/90 and above, then you should start asking yourself, what are you doing wrong? Do you have a family history of blood pressure? What are you doing wrong? Are you eating right? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? Nobody is saying don't take alcohol, but how much are you taking?
We shouldn't take alcohol. 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 Well, if you just tuned in, we're talking about health matters. We're talking about the impact of lifestyle choices on stroke risk, and interesting stuff. I've learned a lot. We should be intentional about our health, and if you're not intentional about it, Charlie, it's wahala for you. But I would like to go for a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll bring you some reactions we're having on some of our pages, but okay, we see some people who are fit, but they still get stroke.
Yes.
What happens? Is it also lifestyle? Well, let me go for that quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll get all those responses and all of that. Stay tuned. There's Ultimate 106.9 FM, and I have two wonderful personalities here coming from Comfort Noche. I'm calling them ambassadors for Heal Comfort Noche. They're not just healing the facility, as in the structure. They want to heal you as well, so that at least we don't come to the hospital all the time. We can modify our lifestyles and do things differently. Marilyn Mawusi Azumah is my guest here. She is organizing secretary for Sports Stroke Fast Foundation, and also the president is also here. Sports Stroke Fast Foundation, Patrick Mansour Kamilo. I hope I got the name right. I'll go for a quick commercial break. When I come back, we'll get into, what are the things we should be looking out for, and persons who appear so fit. In our eyes, we see them also getting stroke and all of that. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Worried about how and where to get the best internet connectivity for your home or office? Are you concerned about how to get a stable, fast internet connection with superb customer service experience? The solution is the Cloud High-Speed Air Fiber Internet, the leading provider of air fiber internet. Get 99.9% reliable network connection you can always depend on. Affordable internet without compromising. Get the job done with a cloud network internet for business, home, office, and campuses. High-speed internet with all the bells and whistles. That's what I'm talking about. In addition to fast upload and download speeds, every cloud internet package comes with a strong, reliable connection. On-site installation performed at your convenience with professional technical support. We are your first-class customer service provider around the clock. An option to bundle your high-speed internet service with a cloud CCTV and IPTV. Wi-Fi deployment for campuses with monitoring and management system. Refer a friend to get discounts. Visit our office at Top High, opposite Love FM. We share the same building as Kumeriman Rural Bank. Call Mr. Internet on 0202-699-110 or 0244-601933. Send us an email via support@cloudghana.com. Cloud Ghana Internet. The future can't wait.
Do you want to know how to discover and live a better life in Christ? Then tune in to the Better Life broadcast on Ultimate 106.9 FM from 5 a.m. to 5:25 a.m. every Monday to Friday as God's servant, Pastor Oseo Afuakwa of Embassy of Life Chapel, formerly Faith House Charismatic Chapel International, takes you on an adventure into the good news of God's kingdom to know God better, live life better, and impact your world better. God richly bless you as you listen.
Thank you very much for sticking and staying with us. This is Ultimate 106.9 FM, and as I told you, it's not always that we'll get into the politics, but we need to sometimes get into the health and other matters. 2024 is a different approach to the year, and your health is important, and we'll be doing much more of that as well. I've got some outstanding questions I'll be getting into, but let me also let you know that Kumomon Bank is giving you the opportunity to come for that money and expand your business. I don't know what you want to do for yourself, for your business. Maybe you're a business person. You want to expand, export. You want to do something different. You want to perhaps do things that will transform your business for 2024. Kumomon Rural Bank is giving that opportunity. You could be that individual person doing your own stuff, the buja trader. You want a loan as group loans or individual loans. Why not? That opportunity is also available. They've got packages for farmers as well, including you listening to me. Yes, you've got a side hustle, which is farming and other stuff. Go speak to them. You're a government worker. Provide 3 months pay slip from the Accountant General's department, and you'll get that money quick. Like, you don't need to be banking with them. No, that is not their situation. Connect with them. Their head office is in Kumewu. They've got other branches dotted in town. Tafuma 3 are inside Bank Walaba and Kejetia. Okay, it's almost 8:30. Their offices will be opening soon. Call them on 050-166-9243. 050-166-9243. Kumomon Rural Bank, indeed, they are the listening bank. Z natural mineral water is for you. It is natural. It is water that is gotten from beneath the belly of the earth. It has gone through some purification processes to make sure that the final water you get in your bottle, yes, that's my team. And he posts a big love sign there as well. Because your team is here, maybe we'll get you along as well. Prince Ibrahim says SSF Health Education hashtag Ultimate FM 106.9 FM. Indeed, yeah, that's what we're doing this morning. So I don't know who's going to take the issue about persons we deem very, very fit, very, very able, but we hear, oh, they've gotten strokes. Like, how? What happens along the line?
So what happens along the line with healthy people is, just as we began, we said everyone can get a stroke. Everyone can get a stroke. So when you're walking healthy, I mean, not checking your blood pressures and all that, you're going about your daily activities, not checking your blood pressures. The blood pressure itself, which is the hypertension, if you don't know about it, you wouldn't be able to, get the right treatment for it.
Okay.
And lots of people are walking. That's why we are doing a lot of health screenings, free health screenings, because a lot of people walk around without knowing their blood level, their blood pressures level. And they complain of headache all the time, take paracetamol all the time. They are tired because already life is stressful. Yeah, and stress.
Rent, school fees. Your more girlfriend, so pressure. No more boy, no more pressure. Oh, Chandra. Walia, good morning.
So the stress itself, the compounding stress of the society itself, it's leading to hypertension.
Yeah.
And because we are not consciously, like my brother said, intentionally checking our blood pressure or taking care of our health, we don't realize that.
Okay.
So someone can be going about their daily activity, they exercise, all that, but they don't check their blood pressure.
Okay.
And when hypertension is coming, it doesn't give any warning sign.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. But hypertension is preventable.
Okay.
And since it's not giving any warning sign, you need to check your blood pressure. That's why we're advocating that try and get the blood pressure machine.
Okay.
When you're having headaches, especially severe headaches after a hard day's work, check your blood pressure even at that point and note it down. If you have a family history of hypertension, make sure that you check your blood pressure.
So it should be a regular feature for us.
It should be a regular. I would advocate that every home should even get a blood pressure monitor if you can afford it. If you can afford it, you can go to a pharmacy shop and check your blood pressure, because when you check it and when you're monitoring it, you get to know when it goes very high.
Okay.
And when you're able to track it, it also helps with the health providers when you come.
I hope my manager is listening, because I think all radio stations
should have
it. It should be a thing.
In fact, they
every day should be there.
First aid.
Every day you
they should all check their blood pressure.
When you're going to start your program, you check.
Yes.
In the middle of the program, you check. Before you end, you check. Before you pick calls, you check. Sure.
So as I said,
Yeah.
it's necessary that we check our blood pressure.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
how come we hear of people having a sudden death. So most of the sudden death, because hypertension itself,
Yeah.
we're talking about stroke, but hypertension itself is the one causing all these things we are hearing about. Is the one causing, when it comes to the brain, is the one causing the stroke, is the one leading to the stroke, is the one leading to someone having a visual impairment. Because if your blood pressure is not well controlled, it can lead to a visual impairment.
Okay.
When your blood pressure is not well controlled, it can lead to a heart attack. It can lead to heart failure. When it comes to hypertension, if it's not well controlled, it can lead to kidney. So if you don't know your blood pressure, you don't know the normal trend of your blood pressure, you won't be able to keep track of it.
Okay.
And at any point in time, that's why we call it brain attack. You could just get attacked by it. And because you don't know the level, it could be a hemorrhagic stroke. That's why when you come to the hospital, we take a scan the moment someone comes in and the person has a blackout. So if you are there and you're also having a lot of blackout, we call something transient ischemic stroke. We didn't mention it, but it's also a type of stroke. It happens within a few minutes, like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So you are with the person and the person just, collapses, or the person suddenly loses its, the visual signs, or even, the speech, it's incoherent. It's like the person is talking, but it's not making the right kind of words, or the person's, we'll talk about the signs. Let me just talk about the signs of stroke. So,
we don't have time, so maybe
Yes.
we'll share the signs to next week if
No problem.
you would have time, so that we can have enough time to have that conversation on the symptoms
Okay.
and what to do, so that at least I will expect our listeners to follow the conversation, because
That's-
this is important. We don't want to rush
Okay.
through it, so that they can get hold of it. But Henry asked the question about is life after stroke a possibility or a forever disability? Kamilo, I don't know. What is it? Or it will depend on the type of stroke you're getting?
It will depend on the type of stroke.
Okay.
Even with the type of stroke, the part of the brain affected is also another issue.
What does that mean?
There are instances where, the brain has various parts of, let's say functions. Okay, so if it happens that it affects a site where you can't move your extremities, your legs, your hands, it means that you are just impaired. You can't do anything.
Yehovah.
You understand? And the good thing is that physiotherapy is also doing wonderful when it comes to stroke rehabilitation.
Okay.
So when the person, suffers a stroke, that's not the end game. There's a lot we can do. Diet management is important. Physiotherapy is important. Getting a nurse to even attend to them is important. Getting a doctor to...
When is it getting a nurse to attend to them?
Sometimes when you talk about, at the hospital level...
Is it at the hospital or in the house?
You have experts who will be taking care of the person. But after discharge, most often the skills, they don't have it at home. We need an expert to...
In Ghana here?
In Ghana here.
The nurses will visit you in the house?
Yes.
In Ghana here?
Yes.
In Ghana?
That
Yes.
one,
It comes with a cost.
This Ghana?
Yes.
This our Ghana?
Yes.
Today's Ghana?
Yes,
Our team,
please.
Sports Stroke Fast Foundation, is something we do.
Today's Ghana?
Yes, please.
The nurses will come home?
Yes,
do.
please.
You haven't heard it. You see,
No, I just want to know,
it
because...
comes with a fee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's because this one you have to, give some I mean, you have to ensure the person is able to move in and out of your home to make sure that you are doing so well.
Okay.
So that's something you can also add on to help.
Okay.
You know, and if it's required that a person comes to the hospital, you know, sometimes after discharge, they have, plan B. Oh, let's get discharged and we go to this man. I told he does this so well.
Yeah.
So that's what is causing now the permanent disability.
Yeah.
But there's always life after stroke if we put right measures in place.
Okay.
You understand? Even with the lifestyle we are talking about, now salt intake is something that is on the rise.
Yeah.
I think last month WHO posted a lot about salt. We're even saying that if it's possible, just take at least a teaspoon.
Engineers word Engineers word there.
There's no, I mean, there's nothing to be worried about, and that's the one of the causes of hypertension.
Okay.
So we have to just reduce some of the things we do. Too much of everything
It's bad.
So when you are doing it, you do it in moderation, and sometimes you mentioned healthy people getting a stroke.
Yeah.
Sometimes we ignore certain pertinent warning signs.
Yeah.
You see, we overlook certain things.
Yeah.
You get, I mean, sudden headache that you don't understand. It's not stress related, but it's so severe. Or suddenly you can't move one of your extremities. Maybe your left, hand or right. You can move it for a short while. Then you're able to move. Just know something is going on in the brain.
Sometimes we have to say anasia.
Yes. So another thing is that once we are talking about medical checkups, you can just walk to any hospital and tell them that you want to do a thorough medical checkups, which include laboratory investigations. And I think once I'm talking about laboratory investigation, I will chip this in. MedLab is doing wonderful this year because last year, we spoke about kidney disease and stuff on the rise with cholesterol issues and stuff. So this year, they've also instituted a policy that you can do, you can check your renal function for 30 cedis, also something that costs close to 200 Ghana cedis. Now they are doing 30 cedis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, for MedLab. So if you've not checked any of these things, there is an opportunity to get subsidized, laboratory investigation that could be done. So that's one thing.
So they're doing it for this year?
Yeah, they're doing it for this year.
That's their target
for the year.
Wow.
Yes. So you got to hear that yesterday. And we thought, it's something that we can also, tell our listeners and people close to us to go and check it. We checked it, I think, last month.
Yeah,
we were able
month.
to do our labs at the hospital, So it's good that everyone gets to do. So you don't just say you are fit.
Okay.
Once there's something wrong that you don't understand, you may have to look for an expert to explain to you.
Okay.
If it's just okay, then that's fine. Psychologically, you are good.
Well, we're living out the symptoms, what to watch out for, and management for next week. If only you guys are going to still, they'll be available, so that we get into that and you can appreciate the conversation from those angles much better. So, but we are indeed grateful for the reactions. We're indeed grateful for all that, and I think maybe next week we'll try and incorporate phone lines into it so that people can call in. We'll find out from our listeners when was the last time they even went for a BP check. When was the last time they went for a thorough health check? A good day, serious. You guys, you are calling every day, and there are days. When was the last time you went for any health check of a sort? I would like to know because it's important. Beyond what you're doing on a daily basis, what are some of the things you're also doing right or wrong? Salt, I understand it's no. Most of us, we are buying the chinchinga and we are eating the salt and all those. We don't know the combination. That there are so many artificial spices on the market now. We're just taking them and all of that. What are some of the things we should be looking out for in early stroke so that at least we can be reporting? And I heard something from these two, I think that was quite early, that they want to push an agenda so that at least every corner you could get a machine to check your BP. And they're even looking at the opportunity of salons, barbering shops, and all of that. We'll delve into all those conversations much later and next week. But we're indeed grateful that you took time off your busy schedule. So they are busy. They are busy people. When I was in the office, I realized, Charlie, be joke. But for them to have time to be here, I'm indeed grateful for that, and also the listeners here. And maybe next week we'll beg if you can come and do some checks for us too. We'll tell the staff so that we'll prepare. And we'll come and check here, man. Issues. But what will be your last word, Mawusi, to persons listening to us on this conversation?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ultimate FM, for the opportunity. 106.9 FM. Thank you. I would like to tell my listeners that try as much as possible to check your blood pressures. Try as much as possible to also do a thorough medical checkup. Do labs. If you are on hypertension, any drugs, especially hypertension drugs or diabetes drugs, don't just do the ritual of because you know what a doctor is going to give you the next day, you are not going to go for reviews. Please go for your medical reviews. Whenever you go, you know that they take your laboratory tests. They want to check your kidneys, they want to check your liver, they want to check your blood level and everything, because it's very necessary. Because as you are taking medications, as you are continuing your lifestyle, there are so many factors and so many things that can affect your organs. So it's necessary that you visit the hospital. If you don't understand anything, ask your physician, ask the nurses, so that we can give you the right education. I can't leave here without saying that please help support Heal Komfo Anokye project. Komfo Anokye belongs to all of us, whether you are in the diaspora, whether you are in any part of Ghana. So far as you're in Ghana or any part of the world, you never know when your relative, your mother or your father, your brother or anybody would come to Komfo Anokye. Komfo Anokye belongs to all of us. So please heal Komfo Anokye, and together we can heal the people who come to Komfo Anokye. So I can't leave here without saying that if you want to donate, please donate to the Momo number is 0544 1955 25. 0544 1955 25. If you are using a merchant's number, 1955 25. 1955 25. And for all other networks, star 776 star 1955 hash. Star 776 star 1955 hash. Thank you so much for listening.
That is Marilyn Mawusi Azumah. I told you, ambassador for Komfo Anokye. You need to heal it. No document. Kamilo, what will be your last words?
Yes. So yesterday I had a shock of my life. Some people are on antihypertensives and this diabetic medication.
Okay.
They stop taking them. But when it's time for their review, they overdose themselves and come to the hospital. So yesterday, one really had, severe hypotension in the hospital. So upon interrogation, then she said, she took, double of the drug because she doesn't want to come to the hospital. And we said, your BPs are high, so you have to, we need to add on some of these medications so that you can control it. They are not taking it. So they are finding a smart way of trying to deceive their doctors and their nurses. But I think that it will still affect them in a way, so they should be very mindful. And a big happy birthday goes to one exceptional nurse Ward C6.
Okay.
Ella. Today is her birthday, and I wish her good health, and all that she wished for should come to pass. And greetings to Sport Stroke Fast members. Our volunteers are so wonderful, and we couldn't have done this without their support. And I know they are listening, and some are at work doing their best as well. We need support to heal Komfo Anokye, and again to support the agenda of creating a lot of hotspots where people can check their blood pressure, their glucose levels for free, and even their BMI for free. So if you have any of these things that you think can also support us, we'll be grateful. And again, we can't wait in the hospital for people to come in with largely preventable conditions. So if you have a group that you think that coming to educate them will go a long way to prevent some of these things or would change their way of life, we are available. You can always invite us to your church, to your workplace, to schools, wherever. If you want screening too, we can plan it, because it's a voluntary work and most of our team members are in various sort of hospitals in the country. So it means that if you tell us earlier, or we are able to agree on a certain date, we can come with the team and do the screening. And mostly it's free because we don't charge. So that when you give us something, we'll take it.
Is your foundation just for medical practitioners alone or individuals?
No, anyone could join. We have someone who is into graphic design, so he does our designings for us. Someone who is able to print t-shirts, so most of our t-shirts we wear is from him.
I want to be a member.
That's wonderful. You are welcome.
So where do I pick?
Right from here.
Where do I pick forms
right
to be a member?
I'll just add it to your WhatsApp group. Then you fill an online form
Okay.
to get registered as a member. Then the rest follows.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to be a member, and I'll be a member because I think it's a good cause to help humanity, and we're wishing all ourselves well because now that I'm going to be a member, we'll see how we push the agenda.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Patrick Mansour Kamilo, for coming through. He's the president of the Sport Stroke Fast Foundation, and also you had Mawusi as well, Marilyn Mawusi, Azumah. She is organizing secretary for the same foundation this morning, giving us some better understanding to the conversation of stroke. We're not done. Next week we'll do matters of symptoms and perhaps the proper management of it as well. And we'll pick your questions, your thoughts, and all other conversations surrounding it. Gentleman and lady, we're indeed grateful this morning for having time for us.
Thank you.
Enjoy